Welcome everybody to this live stream where I'm going to reveal my top baseball picks for today, Thursday, June 29th. Some of you wondered yesterday why the live stream did not occur on Wednesday. But what I do is every week I choose between Wednesday and Thursday depending on which day has the most afternoon games, because that allows me to post earlier when I do a live stream, as opposed to when I do a pre-recorded video that takes a lot of time to prepare. All right, so today there are 12 games on the menu, and we have something quite unusual. On such a day, usually my 19 betting systems recommend betting like 4 or 5 teams, but for today, they are pointing in the direction of only 2 teams. So I will discuss those 2 system picks while letting you know whether I feel like they are good value wagers or if I see them as a lean or if we should avoid them. But don't worry, I'm going to discuss more games after that with more good picks for you. All right, and also stick until the end because I will discuss a prediction contest that will take place Saturday where you could win $50 US, 50, and it's totally free to enter. All right, let's see who is here right now. Hello to Ricky Chan, who says good morning. Sean Miller is here as well. MDC Fire Dancer. Earl is there, says MJ the Bookie Slaughterer. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, yesterday we did not crush the bookie. We lost both free plays from yesterday after being hot for a while. We also have Michael who is here. Miles Dozier. Moody. Carrie Rutland says, I'm here. Reed Phillips. John X. I know that John X has been a regular viewer. Thanks for being here. Tony is here. Rich. Hello to everyone. All right, so let's get started with the 2 system picks. And the very first one, I'm not wearing this shirt for no reason because they are the first system pick, the San Diego Padres. Now I'm going to take them with the -1.5 run line. Now, I've told you earlier this season that I don't like run lines and I try to avoid them as much as possible. Hopefully, I'm not going to regret it, but today I feel like there's more value with the run line than the money line. Now, as you can see, well, first of all, so is this an official pick, a lean, or a play to avoid based on my analysis? As you can see on your screen, San Diego is supported by 2 different systems at a time. The pummeled pitchers, and also the hot bat number 1. Let's review quickly the rules. The pummeled pitchers, it does not generate many system picks every year, so it entices me to pick them today. Here are the rules. You need to bet the road team if they have allowed many runs lately. More specifically, if they lost their past 2 games by allowing at least 9 runs in each of those defeats, which would be really bad, or if they lost their past 3 by allowing 7+ runs in each of those defeats, or if they lost their past 4 games by surrendering at least 6 runs in each of those defeats. All right, so let's take a look at the Padres schedule. Give me a second. So in their last game, they lost by allowing 7 runs. Before that, they allowed 9. And before that, they allowed 8. So it fits the second criterion that we just read together. They lost their past 3 games by allowing at least 7 runs in each of those defeats. And since the Padres are indeed on the road, then according to this system and based on my data set that covers 7 full seasons, we should be taking the Padres. Now we have another system that backs the Padres called the hot bats. It recommends fading, which means betting against the home team if they won their past 2 games by scoring 6+ runs in each of those victories. So when that happens, we feel, well, the system says the home team will cool off today. Now, if we look at Pittsburgh schedule, did they win their last 2 games? Yes, and they won those games by scoring at least 6 runs in each of them. They scored 7 and 9. All right, so do I want to bet this game? Well, Joe Musgrove is set to start for the Padres, and he happens to be a former Pirate, so that will give him some extra motivation. He has not allowed more than 3 runs in 6 straight starts. In fact, he started the 2023 campaign on a bad note. He posted an ugly 6.75 ERA during his first 5 outings. However, he has turned the corner. In his last 6 games, his ERA has been a tiny 1.98. Now, that's the pitcher that we've known from prior years. He was awesome last year and also the year before with very great numbers. All right, now some betting trends that I want to share with you. The last 8 times that the Padres only scored 0, 1, or 2 runs, they bounced back with a 7-1 record. Now, yesterday they lost 7-1, so they scored just 1 run, and San Diego has shown a tendency to rebound nicely, following up such games where their offense was not so good. Also, the last 22 times the Padres faced a team with a losing record while being on the road, they have posted a 15-7 record, so they have had a lot of success under such conditions. Now, one source of concern is the fact that the Padres have lost each of their past 5 games when facing a right-handed pitcher. But the Pirates have not done much better under such conditions. Against righties, they have posted a 10-25 record during their past 35 games against righties. All right, for the Pirates, Luis Ortiz will start. He has a very decent 3.74 ERA, but a very bad 1.62 whip statistic. So let me remind you that the whip statistic means walks plus hits per inning pitch. To me, that's a better indicator of future performance. Now, the league average is 1.30, and if your whip stat is greater than 1.50, that's quite bad. And let me remind you that Ortiz's stat is 1.62. Granted, he's coming off 2 solid starts in which he allowed just one run at Milwaukee and at Miami. His big problem remains the number of walks that he has allowed. In fact, he has a pretty bad strikeout to walks ratio. This year he has 31 punch-outs versus 22 walks. That's quite bad. Now the Pirates, they have a young roster recently. They have 3 new call-ups that began their MLB career in the past 10 days. And I feel like the Padres could take advantage of that. So far, those young guys have done well, but I'm not sure it's going to last very long. So for all of those reasons, you might have felt like my final decision would be to make it an official pick. So I'm really betting. I did bet the Padres this morning with the -1.5 run line. Again, I really hope I'm not going to get burned by the fact that I'm not taking the money line. I wanted to get better odds in this case. All right. Now, up next, we have 3 different teams that are supported by the blowout #1 betting strategy, which is quite simple to follow. The rules are as follows. Bet a team that won its previous game by a margin of at least 8 runs if they're facing the same opponent. Now, according to this system, we should be taking the Yankees first. So like I said, there are 3 teams that fit these criteria for betting. The first team is the Yankees at Oakland. Now, the money line is around minus 185, which is not very tempting, to be honest with you. All right, so here are some notes I've got about this game. Clark Schmidt will start for the Yankees. I have praised him quite often in recent weeks, and deservedly so. He had a pretty tough start to the season, but now in his last 7 outings, he has done a great job. He's allowed 9 earned runs in 37 innings pitched. So if you do the math, it amounts to a 2.19 ERA, which is really great. At some point, it looked like he might lose his spot in the Yankees rotation, but he has really turned the corner. I've told you a few times this week about the Yankees' record in Oakland, which is surprisingly bad. In their past 20 games in Oakland, they have a 6-14 record. Also, New York has a tendency to lose after a win. The last 8 times they won a game, they followed up with a 2-6 record. I also feel like it could be tough to follow up after a perfect game. You know, the energy level was high. They were on a high yesterday after Domingo Herman's perfect game. It might be tough for New York to follow up on such a great performance. So to me, that's a source of concern. Earlier this morning, it was not clear who was going to start for Oakland. Based on the latest reports, it looks like Hogan Harris might take the mound, and I have also praised this guy recently. His first appearance in 2023 was abysmal. I mean, it could not have gone any worse than this. He recorded just 1 out before giving up 6 runs and 5 walks. Holy crap, sorry. That was bad. But since then, he's allowed 12 earned runs in more than 32 innings. So that amounts to a 3.31 ERA, which is really decent. Also, his whip stat is 1.12, which is much, much better than average. And that includes his horrible start. So to me, this is a risky bet. The money line is very small, and I prefer to avoid this play. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying that we should bet the Oakland A's. So, for example, 2 days ago, my systems were taking the Reds. My final decision was to avoid this pick. I said that if forced to bet, I would take the Orioles. And then one guy later on YouTube commented by saying, "Hey, you said you had a perfect 4-0 record with your picks. That's not true. You said to bet Baltimore." No. You need to pay close attention. I said that I was avoiding this game. I was staying on the sidelines. But if forced to bet, I would bet the Orioles. But since nobody broke in my house with a gun and forced me to bet, I did not bet it. And I never sent this play as an official pick. So when I mentioned that we should avoid a pick, it doesn't mean to bet the other team. I'm just avoiding not betting this game at all. All right, now there are 2 more teams that fit the blowout number 1 system. Let me show you yesterday's scores. As you can see up there, the Rangers won 10-2 over the Tigers. That's an 8-run victory. Since they are facing the Tigers again today, this system recommends betting the Rangers. So you may be wondering, okay, but hey, MJ, why did you say earlier that your betting systems were recommending to bet just 2 teams? You've already mentioned the Padres and the Yankees. Well, the reason is we have conflicting information here because I have a system that recommends betting the Tigers. The system in question is the hot bats. So we just discussed this betting angle. The Rangers have won their past 2 games by scoring at least 6 runs in each of those victories. So in this case, we need to bet the Tigers. Now, since we have one system backing Detroit and one system backing the Texas, I'm staying away. And the same thing is occurring on Cleveland. As you can see at the bottom, they won by a 13-run margin at Kansas City. So based on the blowout system, we should be betting the Guardians, but I have the stingy pitchers suggesting to take the Royals. So again, I'm staying away, and that's not necessarily a system pick here. Now, I do have 2 more games that I want to talk to you about that are not supported by any of my systems. Let's see some comments first. Pocket Aces, it's good to see you again. He says that perfect game was wild. He gave up loads of runs. Yeah, that's true. I was really surprised that Domingo Herman picked up a perfect game as well. He has had some rough outings lately, but of course he was facing the A's, which are not that great, but it's still quite an accomplishment. Mitchell Fernan says Cleveland Guardians due to the scoring drought. Royals having question marks. No, the scoring drought does not apply here. Okay. Pocket Aces says I hate when those guys break in with a gun and force me to bet. Yeah. All right. Okay, let's continue. We have a guy. AG says I like Astros. What about you, MJ? Well, it's good that you're asking because my next pick concerns this game, but it's not the Astros and it's not the Cardinals either. So my pick that I sent earlier this morning to all of my members at mjpicks.com is over 5.5 runs in the first 5 innings of the game. The best line I saw earlier this morning was plus 105. I can't remember which sportsbook this was. Maybe yours has a lower line. But still, to me, this is a good pick. This is an official pick for today. And let me tell you why. All right, so the Astros will start JP France. He is a 28-year-old rookie. He has done better than expected with a whip stat of 1.26. Remember that the league average is 1.30, so he is about close to the average. Now, did you know that France has allowed a home run in 7 of his 9 starts this year? That's a source of concern, and hopefully he's going to allow more long balls today since I'm taking the over for the first 5 innings. Now he is going to face Adam Wainwright. Oh my gosh, I've rarely seen a guy post such ugly numbers through 9 starts. I mean, I know that he announced that he would retire after this season. I'm sorry, but maybe he should have retired before the season began because he is doing extremely badly. He has a 6.56 ERA and a whip stat of 1.82. Let me remind you that 1.50 is bad. So 1.82 is extremely, extremely bad. Now, he has allowed at least 3 runs in 8 of his 9 outings. I mean, things could not be going worse for him. But I saw a strange statistic about Wainwright that might scare you a little bit about this bet. In his career against Houston, do you know what Wainwright's career record is? He has 13 wins and 1 loss. Wow, a 13-1 record along with a 1.48 ERA. So he loves to pitch against the Astros. But I'm sorry, but he's just not the same guy. Age has caught up to him, in my opinion. And that's why I'm taking the over in the first half of the game. I want to take full advantage of the starting pitchers who are suspect to me. So our friend here was asking if Houston was a good bet. Well, again, if forced to bet, I'm not saying it's an official pick. If you force me to bet on this game, yeah, I would tend to go with Houston. I'm seeing on my notes that this morning the money line on Houston was minus 110. So yeah, I would prefer to back the Astros here, but it's not an official pick. It's not even a lean to me. I'm just taking the over in the first half of the game. All right, let me move on to a fourth game that I want to discuss. I'm taking the Chicago White Sox with the run line, so plus half a run in the first 5 innings at the LA Angels. The money line I got this morning was minus 120. Again, it might vary from book to book. This is a pick that I like enough to bet. And let me share with you my arguments so that you can make a better decision. And I want to remind you quickly that I don't necessarily tell people to tail all of my picks. Okay, you are the ultimate decision maker. I'm just here to provide you with my own bets, and you are free to do what you want with the information. And hopefully it's going to help you grow your bankroll. In this game, we have Lance Lynn against Patrick Sandoval. And again, I'm taking the first 5 innings bet because I want to focus on those 2 starting pitchers. Now, don't be misled by their ERAs because that would indicate that Lynn is much worse than Sandoval. But they have almost identical whip statistic, which is a more reliable stat. Lynn's whip stat is 1.49 and it's 1.47 for Sandoval, so it's almost the same. Also, I feel like Lynn might be turning the corner. Did you know that in his last 2 outings only, he has a total of 23 strikeouts? That's amazing. And meanwhile, let's take a look at Sandoval's past 5 games and let's focus on the number of hits that he has allowed. He's allowed 10, 4, 10, 8, and 8. So he has allowed quite a bit of hits recently. That's not necessarily a good sign. So to me, they may be heading in different direction. Lynn is improving, Sandoval, not so much. Now, the Angels had a pretty hot stretch, but lately they've had a 3-5 record, so they are not on fire at all. Now, according to my statistical model, this is a good value wager at odds up to minus 135. If you are more comfortable with decimal odds, that's the equivalent of 1.74. So 1.74 or more is a good bet based on my statistical model that has helped me gain some profit over several years. I'm not sure if you can hear my dogs are going crazy upstairs, my 2 golden retrievers. Sometimes they start playing like crazy. So sorry about that if you can hear them. All right, let me check if we have some comments or questions. Enrico says, good afternoon, regards from Vienna, Austria. Oh, that's a nice country that I wish I could visit quite soon. Certified Pimp says, Padres first 5 innings minus half a run seems decent. What you think? Yeah, I like that suggestion. As I said earlier, I'm taking the Padres with the run line for the entire game, but your proposition is also good. Mike Love says, what about Astros team total? I've not looked at the line, but again, well, since I like the over for the first 5 innings, I do have a tendency to like the over for the team totals as well. So, Mike, if you want to bet that, to me, that's a pretty solid bet as well. One guy says my numbers have the Astros Cards game going under the 9.5 total for the full game, so I'm afraid of this over 5.5 runs in the first 5 innings. Now, well, that's okay if your numbers have the under winning. Well, you could either stay away. I mean, if you don't like a bet that I'm proposing, that's totally fine. You can either still make your own bet, or maybe it's going to make you stay away. Ross Key says, can you go back to the other picks? Yeah, well, let me recap all the official picks from today. And I can show them to you. So the first pick that I liked enough to bet, the San Diego Padres minus 1.5 runs at Pittsburgh with Joe Musgrove on the mound. The second pick I like is over in the first 5 innings of the Cards-Astros game. And finally, I took the White Sox plus half a run in the first 5 innings. So I'm banking on Chicago to either be tied or lead after 5 innings in LA. Okay, let's read. Oh, we have a guy. Thank you. He says the like button is there to be used. What is not to like? Yeah, so I invite you to like this video so that I know if you enjoy the content that I'm providing. It's pretty much one of the only ways I know if you like it. So you can like this video or click the thumbs up button. Thank you so much for your support, everyone. Reed Phillips says the pups are excited. Yeah, my Cooper and Fiji are excited upstairs. Mike Love says maybe that's a good sign, dogs barking today. Exactly. Good morning from Bronx, New York. Thank you very much, everyone. All right, now I wanted to tell you about my free contest. So it's quite simple. There are 15 games on the menu Saturday, and you need to pick the winner of each of those 15 games. Now, there might be a couple where I introduce the run line because we have a much stronger team against one of the worst teams in the league. So basically, you need to pick the winner of each of those 15 games while also grading them from 1 to 15. And you need to award the rating 15 to the pick you like the most, because if it wins, you get 15 points. And if you give 1 point to one of the games, that can give you 1 point only. And the winner will win $50 US. So let me show you quickly. MJPicks.com. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention it. So this free contest takes place at MJPicks.com. If you have not done it already, we have more than 600 or 700 subscribers right now. So if you have not done it already, you can sign up very quickly. It will ask you to either choose the free plan or a paid plan where you get all of my picks, because the betting tips on YouTube represent only a fraction of all the ones that I share with my members. Basically, I share all of the wagers that I personally make. Otherwise, if you already have an account, you click login, and then you need to go under the free contest section. We only have one open contest right now. So it says 1 day MLB prediction contest July 1st. Click on it and you'll see a big blue button that invites you to enter your picks here. All right, so if you click here, so you can choose, let's say you want to pick the Padres at Cincinnati, and then you need to choose whether you want to grade it 15, 14, 13, 1, and so on. And once you're done, you click submit, and it's as simple as that. So this is a free contest, so why not give it a shot? Show us your handicapping skills, and you could win $50 US if you get the most points among all of the participants. So far, when I've ran those contests, we've had between 50 and 100 participants, which is not that much. So how often do you get like one chance out of 50 to win $50? I mean, you've got nothing to lose. It's going to take you like 5 minutes to enter the contest. All right, so a big thank you for watching. For those of you who don't know it yet, yesterday I posted my 1000th video ever for this YouTube channel that I started in 2019. So I really wanted to take 1 minute to thank every single one of you for following my work over those past 4 years. If you don't know already, my very first video was a pretty long one where I presented one of the biggest bets I've ever made. It was a $10,000 bet on the Buffalo Bills to record over 6.5 games on that year in 2019. At that time, they had been a bad organization for close to 20 years, and I felt like they were going to turn the corner and start winning with Josh Allen, who was still struggling at that time, and this bet won easily. I remember going to Buffalo against Washington Redskins, and the Bills won their 6th game. I believe they had a 6-1 record to start the season, and not very long ago, they did win their 7th game to clinch the bet. So those are good memories for me. I went to the state of New Jersey to place bigger bets, and I basically showed my whole journey while explaining all the arguments I had backing this play. I'm sure some of you have seen this video, so a big thank you. So now I've come a long way, 1000 videos later. Hopefully this YouTube channel will grow. My number one goal is to help you grow your sports betting bankroll. That's basically my number one priority. So if you could talk about this sports betting channel to your friends or relative, that would be helpful. Right now I have 25,000 subscribers, and I hope I can reach 100,000 subscribers maybe in a year from now. I know it seems like a bold statement, but I'm confident we can get there. All right, so thanks a lot for watching, and don't forget to play my free MLB contest. This is Professor MJ, a 15-year university statistics teacher, thanking you for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow for more MLB picks.